One nappy changed my life forever. And it was exactly 15 years ago. I remember it so vividly. It was September 2002, second week of September, and I was just a wreck. I was a 2.5-week-old dad, and I hadn't a clue what I was doing. I had the responsibility of this little baby that had just dumped into our life, and I was a fraud. People were calling me dad, but I tell you, I had no idea what I was doing. And there I was one night, so the little baby there, actually so small, his nappy was up to here on him. And, the usual thing, okay, let's go for it. Peel back one tab, then peel back the other tab, and then put down the nappy. And then as I was reaching across to get the baby wipe, it struck me. And it was like the heavens opened and the light came down on top of me. I went, I folded back over the nappy so that I wouldn't get squirted in the face. And I knew at that point I was dad. I'd made it. I'd figured this out on my own. And what I went through right next to that changing mat is exactly what you go through when you take on a new identity. It's the same 3 stages. The first stage is the commitment. So I was committed to being a dad. I had a 9-month warning notice on this. So I was all in for it, yeah. And then the second stage is the competence stage. Now, 2.5 weeks in, I still hadn't dropped the baby. I was doing well. And I knew that, crying was bad. But it was only that night that I got to the third and the most important stage. And that was confidence. It was that night, doing that little thing and realizing it all by myself, that I realized I own this. I am dad. And that right there became an amazing part of who I am. I am dad. Dad is me. I get judged by dad. My teenagers, they get annoyed at me because I'm dad and embarrassed. But I am dad, yeah? Now imagine tomorrow I was standing here in front of you, right on this little red circle, and I was no longer dad. Could you imagine that? I'd be devastated because a huge part of my life would have been ripped away from me. Now that's exactly what happens to someone when they leave their job to go and start a business. Exactly what happens to them. One day they're there, everything's perfect. The following day, they lose their job title, they lose their social network, they lose all their mates around the water cooler. They lose it all. It's all gone. The corner office, everything gone. And they have to start from scratch all over again. And I know because I've done that 3 times. I've left a job to start up a business. And it is hard. It's no wonder that 90% of people who leave their jobs less than 2 years later, they're back again working. That idea about being an entrepreneur and a company owner is shattered and gone. So where am I going with this? Why am I telling you about this and why it matters? Well, you've got friends, right? You've probably got family members. You've probably got work colleagues. And they're thinking of starting a business, or maybe they're actually running a business. And I want to give you a little insight into what's going on in their heads right this second. So 3 weeks ago, I was having breakfast with an entrepreneurial friend of mine. And she is uber confident, full of energy, Duracell bunny, all that. In fact, she's the type of person you don't want to give her too much coffee in case she just explodes in front of you. And she was telling me about she'd been to the UK 2 weeks previously to go to a big lavish event. And at the lavish event were going to be friends of hers and some ex-work colleagues, because she used to work in the UK. And I was just asking her, so how did it go? And what she said shocked me. She said, I didn't go. I couldn't go. So she'd gone all the way to the UK and she didn't go to the event. So I asked her why. And she stuttered a bit, and then she told me, she said, well, basically, if I'd gone to that event, people would have asked me, what are you doing? How's business? And she said, those people, they knew me as this high-powered executive, go and get it done. And I'd have to try and tell them about my business. And here it is, and the small little things that they're doing. And it just struck me, she didn't have the confidence yet to see herself as this entrepreneur. She hadn't developed that yet. And it's no surprise that actually, as the conversation went on, she started telling me how she was starting to look for jobs again. She was going to leave that and go back to the corporate world. And it's a shame because she's such a brain and talent to bring to us. But why should we care? Let's be honest, okay? This is just an entrepreneur. It's rough and tough. She took a gamble. It hasn't worked out for her. So why should you care? Well, does anyone here want tomorrow to be just a little bit better than today? Yeah? Yeah, me? Anyone want next week better than, yeah? Next month better than last month? Yeah? Does anyone here want your future to be a little bit better than your current? Yeah? We all do, right? We all want that. That's part of being human. And here's where entrepreneurs come in. Entrepreneurs, they're the guys and the gals who take the needs and wants that we want today but we don't have, and they make them real. They create the products and services that take us forward. How cool is that? So we need entrepreneurs. We need loads of them, and thank God we've loads of them around our communities. We've entrepreneurs setting up shops, opening restaurants, looking after our children, looking after our fitness and our health and our sick. We've even entrepreneurs trying to send us to the moon. Hey, how cool. So entrepreneurs are the lifeblood of what we want. We can't afford to have entrepreneurs just wandering back into corporate world because they couldn't connect with their identity yet. What a waste. We want more entrepreneurs to have a better future for all of us, right? So I've got basically 3 minutes and 50 seconds, and I'm going to create entrepreneur makers out of each and every one of you. I have my magic wand, there it is, waving away. And what I need you to do is, remember my friend who couldn't answer her questions without confidence? I'm going to give you 3 little questions that's going to generate the confidence in entrepreneurs. And you're going to ask these questions of every entrepreneur you meet. So your family member who's thinking of starting a business or is out there, your friends, random strangers, I don't care. But the 3 questions are really simple. The first question is, who is your customer? The second question, what are you selling? And the third question, how are you selling it? So who, what, and how. And here's why those 3 questions are so important. Those 3 questions are the basis of every single successful business. Forget about all the other stuff. These are the 3 key things in the business. And if an entrepreneur can nail them, they're going to be successful. If an entrepreneur can nail them, they're going to have the confidence that they're going to be successful. They're going to own their role as an entrepreneur. But just like me as a dad, it took me, 50 attempts to try and figure out how to change a nappy. Actually, my wife would say a lot fewer, but we won't go there. An entrepreneur needs loads of opportunity to go and practice. Then they don't get this right initially. It takes them 200 or 300 attempts. And the more times that we can ask them to try and get that out, the quicker that they're going to get their answer, and they're going to have their aha moment, and they're going to figure this out and get to their confidence. Now, an added incentive for you guys here tonight is that I know in our midst, in our community, we have a pile of entrepreneurs, and one of them I want to tell you about. She has a cure for loneliness. How cool is that? A cure for loneliness, right? And I kid you not, she's already helped about 100 people, and she and her business has the power and opportunity to help millions. Millions, right? But here's the problem. She hasn't nailed these 3 questions yet. So she's not confident at the moment that her business is going to succeed. In fact, every now and again I meet her and she's like, oh, maybe I should go back to work, let's check the jobs. That would be a travesty, guys, yeah? Absolute travesty. So we can't let that happen, right? At all. So, given this is such a small community, I know, guaranteed, that within this audience, we have people who will meet her probably this week, over the next few weeks, and over the next few months. And you might know her, but if you ask any random entrepreneur those 3 questions, I guarantee a few of you are going to be asking her specifically to get those right. And the thing is that it could be you asking those questions, that she has the clouds opening, the light coming down, and she gets it, and she grabs that, and she goes forward with her business. Yeah? How cool, how cool. Right, so the 3 questions again, right? Random entrepreneur, I don't care, but these are the 3 questions you have to ask them, right? You have to ask them, who's your customer? What are you selling? And how are you selling it? Who, what, and how? Because if you ask them, you're improving your future, you're improving my son's future, you're improving your family's future, and together we're going to make all of our tomorrows that little bit better than today. Thank you. Thanks.